So what if your internal state is actually a language, a really powerful one that doesn't just talk to your own body, but maybe, just maybe, it shapes the world around you? Today, we're going to try and decode this hidden language of intention, bridging the gap from a really popular philosophy to some absolutely fascinating science. Okay, let's dive in with an idea that I'm sure most of you have heard before. Like attracts like. This is, of course, the central pillar of the law of attraction. The whole philosophy is that where you place your focus, your energy flows, and you start to attract more of that exact thing into your life. But here's the thing. Is this just a popular belief, a kind of wishful thinking, or is it actually hinting at something way deeper, a fundamental mechanism of how our minds and bodies are truly wired? Well, that is the big question we're going to dig into in this explainer. So let's start with that foundational concept, this idea of your mind acting like some kind of magnet. The sources we looked at describe it pretty much like this. Your thoughts, your emotions, they're all a form of energy, and you attract whatever you consistently focus on. The practices are probably pretty familiar to you, right? Things like vividly visualizing your goals, repeating positive affirmations, keeping a gratitude journal. The whole point, the big goal, is to align what they call your vibrational energy with what you want. Okay, so that's the philosophy. But it really begs a huge question. If our internal state, our feelings, our focus is really that powerful, what's the actual mechanism behind it all? How does it really work inside our own bodies? And this, right here, is where things get really, really interesting. We're going to shift our focus a bit, away from the mind and toward what might just be the true engine of our emotional state, the heart, and the powerful, rhythmic language that it speaks. And you can literally see this language right here. This is the visual proof of our emotional state. On the left, you see the heart rate pattern for frustration. I mean, look at it. It's all over the place, chaotic, jagged. But then look at the right. That smooth, orderly wave, that's the heart's rhythm during a state of appreciation. It's a clear, visible language of how we're feeling. Now, scientists actually have a name for this optimal state. It's called psychophysiological coherence. And this is so crucial. It's not just about feeling good. It is a measurable biological state of alignment where your heart, your mind, and your emotions are all in sync, creating optimal function throughout your entire system. So how does a coherent heart rhythm actually influence our mind and our perception of the world? Well, it all comes down to this incredible connection between the heart and the brain. We have this idea baked into our culture, right? The brain is the command center. It's the CEO of the body, sending orders down to everything else. But get this, the research from a field called neurocardiology shows something completely different. Turns out, the heart is constantly sending a flood of signals up to the brain through the nervous system. And here's the kicker. The heart sends significantly more information to the brain than the brain sends down to the heart. This just beautifully illustrates that the heart is a primary driver in this conversation. It's profoundly influencing our emotional experience and even our ability to think clearly, to focus, and make good decisions. Okay, so if the heart's rhythm is this powerful, can we consciously change it? Can we intentionally create more of that coherence? The answer is a huge yes. Let's look at how you can actually rewire your own inner baseline. See, our nervous system creates what researchers at the HeartMath Institute call a baseline reference. It's like a default pattern. And the brain works really hard to maintain this pattern simply because it's familiar. But here's the crazy part. Even if that baseline is built on stress and anxiety, it can feel comfortable just because it's what the system knows. We can literally get stuck in a state of stress. But we can create a new baseline. And researchers have developed a simple but incredibly powerful technique to do exactly that. It starts with something called heart-focused breathing. You just shift your attention to the area around your heart. Simple. Then you consciously activate a positive feeling, like genuine appreciation or care for someone or something. And the final step, and this is the most important one, is reinforcement. Practicing this regularly helps establish a new, healthier, and way more coherent inner baseline. So, we've connected our intention to a feeling, and that feeling to a measurable physiological state of coherence. Now, let's take a bit of a leap. We're going to head into the more theoretical side of this and explore how this powerful inner state might connect to the very fabric of reality itself. All right, it is really important to frame this next part correctly. What we're about to look at are theoretical models. They come from scientific researchers who are pushing the boundaries of what we know. So this is an established fact, but it is a set of fascinating hypotheses that are grounded in some really interesting experimental data.
This model here really helps us visualize our emotional range. So, that inner circle, that represents our normal, everyday emotions, feeling frustrated or content. But what about those peak experiences in life? The area outside that circle is what researchers call hyperstates. These are states of extreme positive emotion, like selfless love or deep compassion, which are linked to a profound shift in our physiology, almost like a deep internal regeneration.
And this is where it gets really mind-bending. This model, from a researcher named Raymond Bradley, proposes a theory for how our inner state might actually interact with the world. He suggests that a sustained high state of heart coherence, those hyperstates we just talked about, could create what he calls a quantum holographic channel. Now, try to think of it like a theoretical bridge, a connection linking our physical reality to a deeper quantum reality. It's a working hypothesis for how our intention could directly influence the physical world. All of this really points toward a deeper sense of connection. As Robert John, who ran the Princeton Engineering Anomalies Research Lab for almost 30 years, concluded from his own extensive work, there is a profound connectivity between any one part of nature and another. Whether we call it vibrational alignment or psychophysiological coherence, the theme underneath it all is one of deep, undeniable interconnectedness. So, we come full circle, right back to where we started. If your inner state, the rhythm of your heart, the focus of your intention, really is a powerful language, one that communicates with your own body, and maybe, just maybe, with the world around you, what have you been saying?